What has everyone been up to this morning and afternoon? That's the one. Looks like we are ready to go live on the YouTube. Hi Lloyd! How's everyone doing today? I've got this plugged in today. This is for a particular person who's not here yet. Oh, thanks Lloyd. Not Lloyd, George. It was just the hat was just sitting on the chair, so I decided to put it on. I quite like this hat. It's kind of like, it's the right shapes to be an Indiana Jones hat. Not the right material, but you know, get what I can take. Hi Ethan! Glad you're here. I wonder why that will be. We'll find out a little bit later. Well, I'm always glad you're here anyway, but... Great. Wow. Again, it's a bit quieter in terms of things to share this week. You've been filming some cricket videos. Oh, wow. Emma Waters is here. Mercy me. Who'd have thunk it? Hello, Emma Waters. How are you? That's cool. You've been filming some training videos for your coach. Ah, could you train us, George? I mean, I did a bit of quick cricket when I was in primary school, meaning we did it for PE. That's pretty much, yeah, I think it's just been one of those quiet weeks, isn't it? The weather's not been... No, the weather's been quite hot, but yesterday wasn't very good. And Friday wasn't too great. At least part of the day, and then it would change. Hi, Alex! So yeah, just one of those weeks. I guess people haven't been up to much. They've been having a more relaxed week, which is all good. I need to change my angle a bit. You can barely see me. I'm just a little thing poking out the bottom. Cool, man. Alright, well. Hi, Harry. Hi, James Bond. He's been playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I don't know what that is. Hi, Sophia. Right. Well, I guess Wednesday and Thursdays. I mean, it's weird because it is hot, but at the same time, there's quite a strong wind. Yeah, she's great. Ira's all good. Don't know where she is. She was sleeping on the chair that my laptop is resting on, and she was annoyed that I came along and moved it and running off somewhere. Right, shall we have a look then at what people have sent in to share with us today? Let's see. I think we're starting off with some very chocolatey cake from Sophia. We are indeed. Hey, GFab! How's it going? Cool, we're in for another scorcher for a week, are we? Crikey. Alright, well. So, on Wednesday, I sent out an incredibly chocolatey recipe to make a Mississippi mud cake / pie. And as far as I'm aware, the only photos I got was from Sophia. So Sophia made it. I wonder if Sophia can tell us how it tasted, if it was as delicious as it looks. Because that looks like all the chocolate in the world. Look at that. Whoa. It's making me hungry just looking at it. Crikey O'Reilly. yeah, and then basically after this, we're going straight into people's news photos. Um, so first up, here is Alex. Ooh, let's zoom in on a bit on you, Alex. I can barely see you. It looks like Alex has been doing some boxing. But my question for you, Alex, is who have you been boxing? Have you got a punching bag, or is it, I don't know. Please fill us in. Hope it's not your mum or sister. Unless they have boxing gloves too, of course. Then it's all good. Up next. Well, George mentioned he's been filming some videos for his... where is it? There it is. Cricket coach. And we got a photo here of George playing some cricket. And we can also see that George has had a very, very active week because he joined in our workout as well. Now, I don't know if this is him doing one of the exercises or maybe him lying down because he's so tired after doing our workout. Particularly James's crunches. Oh, those were painful. Painful to do. Ooh, I think I just did something to my chair. And here he is doing his, I think that's George in the mid lunge. There he is. So well done, George. Right. There's like a blue bird feeder. No, it's a bee. Sorry, it's a bee house, which Jennifer's been making. So look at that. And Jennifer also goes to Submarine. She also goes to Farmability, which I'm sure quite a lot of you do. And Farmability, they've challenged the what do they call them? I'm just going to say farmers because I can't remember the word they use. To make scarecrows. So here's Jennifer's little baby scarecrow. And it's got Lisa Simpson's head. What's that? A scarecrow? Or do you mean the bee house? It's basically a bit like a bird feeder, but for bees, I think. So bees can have a little bit of like sugary water or something from there, which they can eat and keep them going, keep them strong, because it's really important. I think this week has been National Bee Week or International Bee Week or something like that. Because bees are really important for like the environment and stuff, so it's really important that we look after them. Next, Jessel, J-Dog. Now, sadly, Jessel did send some darts, and we've also got a picture of Jessel. Oh, what's Farmability? What's Farmability? So Farmability is a place where people can get work experience of what it's like to work on a farm. So we have quite a lot of people who go to Farmability. Jim goes, Andy goes, Shane goes, Christopher goes, loads of people. Go Farmability. Next, I could go to Farmability. It seems really cool there. Definitely in my wheelhouse, I'd say, of things that would be really cool to do. Up next, we've got Jeff. Jessel with a picture with his cat. Oh, I don't know what the cat's called, so Jessel, if you are here, let us know what your cat's called. Would love to know. And lastly, he just had, well, obviously he didn't have it, but his partner had baby number 2 on, was it Azim? Am I right in thinking it's called Harley James? Please do fill us in with all the information, Azim. And if at any point you're happy to do it, if we could see a photo of the new Baba, we'd love to see it, sir. Oh yeah, lastly from Jessel, speaking of Babings, that's so exciting, is he? So yeah, huge congratulations from not just me, but everyone who's on furlough, who's staff who can't give you the congratulations because they're on furlough. But yeah, from basically everyone at Yellow Submarine, congratulations, Azim. That's very exciting. And this has got me thinking, I'd quite like to see quite a lot of your baby pictures, so maybe next week you could all send me your baby pictures and we can play a bit of a game and we have to try and guess who they are. Alright, up next we've got Lloyd. Now, you have to fill in a blank for me here. So you've got a picture here of you with an Oxford United player, but I don't know anything about football or Oxford United, so I don't know who this is. So if you could tell us who this person is, that'd be great. Because I haven't got a clue. And that guy, whoever he is, you might notice he's got a pen in his hand because he signed Lloyd's t-shirt as well. Matt Taylor. This is Matt Taylor, everyone. Yep, so here's his medal. So that's really cool. And we can even see Lloyd all in his coaching clothes, uniform. From Rose Hill. Now, I don't know if he sent me this picture because it has roses in Rose Hill, but it's a bit of colouring in that he's done. He always does really nice colouring in. I always look forward to seeing his colouring on. Now, I wish the police's real uniform was this kind with these colours. I think it'd be a lot better, and they should have to dye their hair green. I reckon. I wonder if you all agree. And here's a cake that Lloyd coloured in. He decorated it with his pencils. And once again, really great choices of colours. And lastly, in our news, I've got some more photos, but these are the last news-based ones. Some cheese. Looks like he had a fantastic lunch whenever this was. Oh wait, I'm a liar. These aren't the end of our news photos, because I've got a few more to share. So we've got Ethan. Now Ethan was having a Zoom call with his school choir. So he's still doing his school choir through Zoom. Ethan has also been on a family walk. Look at that. You got the good weather when these guys went out. Oh, sorry, it's a little bit. Bit of bread pizzas. It looks like he's put some ham on there. Those look fantastic. And he also did another bit of baking this week. So this is Ethan making a cake. Yeah, send me a picture. See him? And I'll get it up. And if you're happy for me to put it on the stream, just say put it on the stream so we can all see Harley James. And speaking of birth and being born, so the cake that Ethan is making is a special kind of cake. Because tomorrow is a special kind of day for Mr. Ethan. Well, I'm going to try and put it on. Ooh! Hopefully that hasn't done anything. Yes, so tomorrow is Ethan's birthday. Yeah. We are going to sing Ethan happy birthday. Right, we're going to wash our hands, so we're going to sing it twice. Hopefully, I'll be more in tune this time. Just bear with me. I think here it is. Oh, it's massive. It's in the picture's massive, not the baby. Now let's see if we can get it to the right size so we can all see. We can see it here. Oh, it's like it's being born. Fun. Oh, hey, there it is. I'm glad Ethan enjoyed that. It's a very rare occasion where I sing that people enjoy it. So on Friday we had our ninja theme day, and we had our game of the floor is lava. And some people also made a toilet roll ninjas, including Alex. We made loads of them. We made his whole little ninja army. And here we can see a better picture of them, more close up. Used lots of different colours. I really like the purple one. That was really cool. So yeah, well done, Alex. Up to you. Also on Wednesday, we asked you to do some self-portraits. Oh, I didn't switch it back. Silly me. Oh, hey. Sneaky preview of Lloyd's things. Oh. So here's Alex making his ninjas, and here's the close-up picture. Unfortunately, I'm not on the right program. Interview on Tuesday, and we'd love to see it on Tuesday. Hi, Daniel and Phoebe. And sticking with Alex, we asked you all to do some self-portraits with some of your kind of personal strengths and qualities written on there. So he said it's a little bit pixels, so it's harder for me to read, but it looks like it's generous. Lots of things, and I agree with them all, Sophia. Indeed, you are. So thank you very much. And lastly, I've got a little video to show you. Now, unfortunately, Shall we have a look? Wowzers, trousers. Yeah. I think really joint with the pictures of baby Harley, I reckon. Oh well, that's it. That's all the news. That's all the news. Look at that, 3:30 on the nose. On the nose. I've got a few options. But before we do that, I've got to try something we haven't tried before. And that is, we're going to try a poll. And you guys can vote for which book that way. Hopefully this works. Our books are this week James and the Giant Peach. Norse myths. Now we won't read the whole book. I'll just choose a few stories from it for us to read. But that's all about like Thor and Loki. Not the ones from Marvel, but the ones from the Vikings stories. And then lastly, a little kind of bonus one. Just because it's Ethan's birthday yesterday, it's another Moomin book, but it's a short book. It's only a little small picture book, but it's called Moomin and the Birthday. A bit of a sickness going around, so I haven't been able to deliver it to her next. It's got a price tag on it. What a loving uncle I am. Flew out of the country when it was her birthday. present. So this one I'm going to call Mermin Birthday Book. Okay, let's see what happens. Hole somewhere. And we should be able to see what everyone's voting for. Aha! We've got percentages, okay. So, hopefully, you can all have a little vote. And I'll give you a little bit of time to do the voting. So first, if you're on YouTube, which is one person, which is probably Sophia, just tell me which book is miserable until something peculiar happens and James finds himself on the most wonderful and extraordinary journey you could ever imagine. So that's James and the Giant Peach. Norse mythology. The great Norse myths, which have inspired so much modern fiction, are dazzlingly retold by Neil Gaiman. Tales of dwarfs and frost giants, of treasure and magic, and of Asgard, home to the gods. Odin, the All-Father, highest and oldest of the Aesir. Get to me here, we talk all kinds of funny when we do that one. His mighty... So, basically lots of stories about giants and other kinds of magical things, and Thor and Loki and all that business. So, in this whole book, I just choose the stories from it, and we give it a read, and see what happens. This is what I kind of would check through, because sometimes it can be a little bit intense. Fir Tree, which is our kind of Moomin book, our big Moomin book, to read over a couple of weeks. It's got 2 Moomin stories in it. It's The Invisible Child, The Isolated Ninny. It doesn't look fuzzy right anything. Maybe there's something wrong with your internet? If you're watching it on YouTube on your TV, that might be why. Because the YouTube feed's a little bit more dodgy. And this is the Moomin birthday book. I didn't close it. Gotta reopen it. So maybe people might have closed it by accident, thinking it was an advert or something. I've just pressed reopen, so hopefully... Oh, we got 1 vote! It's working! Nope, they've changed their mind. If you this is cool, I like this. Oh, someone's changed their mind. Apparently you could unvote. I don't know if someone's doing an angry face or they're just pressing all the buttons. So far, I've got 2 for James and the Giant Peach. And 1 for the Moomin Invisible Child. I got 0 for the Myths. And I got 0 for the Birthday Book, which is also Moomin based. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes for people to get your votes in. So I can get Instagram. It might be that I've already got 1 vote, so maybe you have voted for it, Judith / Rosie. So hopefully, I think that 1 vote must be the one you've done. So we've got 1 minute left to vote for the book. What's it gonna be? Oh, we got 1 for the birthday book. Oh, what's it gonna be? Oh, we got 3 for James and Joe. Woo! Oh, sorry guys. This isn't my technology. This is Facebook's technology. The whole poll thing. So I have no control over it. So if it doesn't seem to work, maybe we won't use it again in the future. Okay, maybe if it's just highlighted blue, that counts as the vote. Maybe. Oh well, I think James and the Giant Peach is the winner, so there we go. James and the Giant Peach was our winner. So, that's odd. The 26th of November 2006. We bought these in the charity shop, so this is just a random person's baby. Well, that's fun, isn't it? 2006, so this person's 14 years old now. Yeah, James the Giant Peach. Well, not all of it, some of it, and then we'll carry on for the next few weeks. I reckon this is going to be a bit of a 3-weeker, as they call it on the streets. Right. Just Just a little bit of trigger warning. It's a little bit intense at the beginning. A little bit of parent death. That's a way to describe it. Chapter 1. Until he was 4 years old. Then, one day, James's mother and father went to London to do some shopping, and then something terrible happened. Both of them suddenly got eaten up in full daylight, mind you, and on a crowded street by an enormous, angry rhinoceros, which had escaped. Poor James, on the other hand, was still very much alive, and all at once he found himself alone and frightened in a vast, unfriendly world. The lovely house by the seaside had to be sold immediately, and the little boy, carrying nothing but a small suitcase containing a pair of pyjamas and a toothbrush, was sent away to live with his two aunts. Their names were Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker. And I'm really sorry to say that they were both or you miserable creature, and they certainly never gave him any toys to play with or any picture books to look at. His room was as bare as a prison cell. They lived, Aunt Sponge, Aunt Spiker, and now James as well, in a queer ramshackle house on the top of a high hill in the south of England. The hill was so high that from almost anywhere in the garden, James could look down and see for miles and miles across a marvellous landscape of woods and fields. And on a very clear day, if he looked in the right direction, top of that hill, neither Aunt Sponge nor Aunt Spiker could ever be bothered to take him out herself, not even for a small walk or a picnic, and he certainly wasn't permitted to go alone. The nasty little beast will only get into mischief if he goes out in the garden, Aunt Spiker had said. Here's a little picture of the house. Oh, hi, Reese. And Laura bushes at the far end was an ancient peach tree that never gave any peaches. There was no swing, no seesaw, no sandpit, and no other children were ever invited to come up. They'll play poor James. There wasn't so much as a dog or a cat around to keep him company. And as time went on, he became sadder and sadder and more lonely. He used to spend hours every day standing at the bottom of the garden, gazing wistfully at the lovely but forbidden world of woods and fields and oceans cushions that was spread out below like a magic carpet. There's a little picture of a little sad James. Oh, James. Oh. We'll see the pictures of that next week. Sorry. Got distracted there. Woo! Which was very peculiar. And then the very peculiar thing, in its own turn, caused a really fantastically peculiar thing to occur. It all started on a blazing hot day in the middle of the summer. Aunt Sponge, Aunt Spiker, and James were all out in the garden. James had been put to work, as usual. This time, he was chopping wood for the kitchen stove. Aunt Sponge and Aunt exactly as though it had been boiled. She was like a great white soggy over-boiled cabbage. Aunt Spiker, on the other hand, was lean and tall and bony, and she wore steel-rimmed spectacles that fixed onto the end of her nose with a clip. She had a screeching voice, and every now and again screaming at James to chop faster. They also talked about themselves, each one saying how beautiful she thought she was. Aunt Sponge had a long-handled mirror on her lap, and she kept picking it up and gazing at her own hideous face. "I look and smell," Aunt Sponge declared, "as lovely as a rose. Just feast your eyes upon my face, observe my shapely nose, behold my heavenly silky locks, and behold my gorgeous curvy shape, my teeth, my charming grin. Oh, beauteous me, how I adore my radiant looks, and please ignore the pimple on my chin. My dear old trout," Aunt Sponge cried out, "you're only bones and skin." "Such loveliness as I possess can only truly shine." Poor James was still slaving away at the chopping block. The heat was terrible. He was sweating all over. His arm was aching. The chopper was a large, blunt thing, far too heavy for a small boy to use. And as he worked, James began thinking about the other children in the world and what they might be doing at this moment. Some would be riding tricycles in their gardens. Some would be walking cool woods and picking bunches of wild flowers. and all the little friends whom he used to know will be down by the seaside, playing in the wet sand. It's being a bit fuzzy. But all that matters is if you can hear me really now. He stopped working and leaned against the chopping block, overwhelmed by his own unhappiness. "What's the matter with you?" Aunt Spiker screeched, glaring at him over the top of her steel spectacles. James began to cry. "Awful and lonely. Why, you lazy, good-for-nothing brute!" Aunt Spiker shouted. "Beat him!" cried Aunt Sponge. "I certainly will!" Aunt Spiker snapped. She glared at James, and James looked back at her with large, frightened eyes. "I shall beat you later, on in the day when I don't feel so hot," she said. "Now get out of my sight, you disgusting little worm." Chapter 3. Chapter 3. It was at this point that the first thing of all that... Sorry. It was at this point that the first thing of all, the rather peculiar thing that led to many other much more peculiar things happened to him. For suddenly, just behind him, James heard a rustling of leaves, and he turned round and saw James. When he spoke, his voice was very slow and creaky. "Come closer to me, little boy," he said, beckoning James with a finger. If you come across a man like this in the woods, don't approach him. Come right up to me, and I will show you something wonderful. James was too frightened to move. Rightly so. The man hobbled a step or two nearer, and then he put a hand into the pocket of his jacket and took out a small white paper bag that James could feel his breath blowing on his cheeks. The breath smelled musty and stale and slightly mildewed, like air in an old cellar. "Take a look, my dear," he said, opening the bag and tilting it towards James. Inside it, James could see a mass of tiny green things that looked like little stones or crystals, each one about the size of a grain of rice. They were... Oh, here's a little picture of the man. Doesn't look quite as menacing as it sounds. Ooh. James stared into the bag, and sure enough, there was a faint rustling sound coming up from inside it. And then he noticed that all the thousands of little green things were slowly, very, very slowly stirring about and moving over each other as though they were alive. There's more power and magic in those things in there than in all the rest of the world put together, the old man said softly. But, what are they? James murmured, finding his voice at last. Where do they come from? Aha! The long slimy crocodile tongues boiled up in the skull of a dead witch for 20 days and nights in the eye of a lizard, and the fingers of a young monkey, the gizzard of a pig, the beak of a bee parrot, the juice of a porcupine, and 3 spoonfuls of sugar. Stew for a week, and the moon knew the rest. All at once he pushed the white paper bag into James's hands and said, Here, you take it. Add 10 hairs from your own head. That sets them off, gets them going. In a couple of minutes, the water will begin to froth and bubble furiously. And as soon as that happens, you must quickly drink it all down, the whole jugful, in one gulp. And then, my dear, you will feel it churning and all about it. Now, off you go and do exactly as I say. And don't whisper a word of this to these 2 horrible aunts of yours. Not a word. And don't let those little green things in there get away from you either. Because if they do escape, then they will be working their magic upon somebody else instead of upon you. And that isn't what you want at all, is it, my dear? Whoever they meet first, be it bug, insect, animal, or tree, that will be the one who gets the full power of their magic. So, running back towards the house as fast as he could go. He would do it all in the kitchen, he told himself, if only he could get in there without Sponge and Aunt Spiker seeing him. He was terribly excited. He flew through the long dark grass and the stinging nettles, not caring whether he got stung or not, on his bare knees, and in the distance he could see Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker sitting in their chairs with their backs towards him. He swerved away from them so as to go around the other side of the house, but then, suddenly, just as he was passing underneath the old peach tree that stood in the middle of the forces, but what was this? They were all sinking into the soil. He could actually see them wriggling and twisting as they burrowed their way downward into the hard earth. And at once, he reached out a hand to pick some of them up before it was too late. Before they disappeared right under his fingers. He went after some others, and the same thing happened. He began scrambling around frantically in an effort to catch the hold of them, of those that were left, but they were too quick for him. Each But where had they gone to? And why in the world had they been so eager to push down into the earth like that? What were they after? There was nothing down there. Nothing except the roots of the old peach tree, and a whole lot of earthworms and centipedes and insects living in the soil. But what was it the old man had said? Whoever they meet first, be it bug, to there's a little beast. A voice suddenly was shouting in James's ear. James glanced up and saw Aunt Spiker standing over him, grim and tall and bony, glaring at him through her steel-rimmed spectacles. "Get over there immediately and finish chopping up those logs," she ordered. Aunt Sponge, fat and pulpy as a jellyfish, came waddling up behind her to see what was going on. "Why don't we just lower the boy down in a bucket and leave him there for the night?" she suggested. "That will teach him not to laze around like..." And went back to the woodpile. Oh, if only he hadn't slipped and fallen and dropped that precious bag. All hope of a happier life had gone completely now. Today and tomorrow and the next day and all the other days as well would be nothing but punishment and pain, unhappiness and despair. He picked up the chopper. Aunt Spiker was shouting, "Oh, what?" "A peach! Right up there! On the highest branch! Can't you see it?" "I think you've been mistaken, my dear Spiker. That miserable tree never has peaches on it." "There's one on it now, Sponge. You look for yourself." "You're teasing me, Spiker. You're making my mind. It is a peach up there." "A nice big one, too," Aunt Spiker said. "A beauty! A beauty!" Aunt Sponge cried out. At this point, James slowly put down his chopper and turned and looked across at the two women who were standing underneath the peach tree. "Something is about to happen," he told himself. "Something peculiar." The aunts were not talking now. They were just standing there, staring at the peach. There was not a sound anywhere, not even a breath of wind, and overhead the sun blazed down upon them out of a deep blue sky. "It looks right to me," Aunt Spiker said, breaking the silence. Wrong one. It looks right to me, Aunt Spiker said, breaking the silence. Then why don't we eat it? Aunt Sponge suggested, licking her thick. My voice hurts. I check it's the right one. Yep. I want you to pick up Peach up on their highest branch. Aunt Sponge went on. Can you see it? Yeah, yes, Aunt Spongy, I can see it. And don't you She was staring up into the branches with her mouth wide open and her eyes bulging as though she'd seen a ghost. Look, she said. Look, Sponge, look! What's the matter with you? Aunt Sponge demanded. It's growing, Aunt Spiker cried. It's getting bigger and bigger! What is? The pitch, of course. You're joking. Well, look for yourself. It's as big as Aunt Spiker shouted. It can't be true. It's true. It must be a miracle. Watch it. Watch it. I am watching it. Great heavens alive, Aunt Spiker yelled. I can actually see the thing bulging and swelling before my very eyes. Chapter In another half a minute, it was twice as big again. Just look at it growing! Aunt Spiker cried. Will it ever stop? Aunt Sponge shouted, waving her fat arms and starting to dance around in circles. And now it was so big it looked like an enormous butter-coloured pumpkin dangling from the top of the tree. Get away from that tree trunk, you stupid boy! Aunt Spiker yelled. The slightest shake, and I'm sure it'll fall off. It must weigh 20 or 30 pounds at least. The branch that the peach was growing upon was beginning to bend herself. And probably just as heavy. And still it went on growing. In another minute, this mammoth fruit was as large and round and as fat as Aunt... Oh, I just said that. It has to stop now! Aunt Spiker yelled. It can't go on forever! But it didn't stop. Soon it was the size of a small car and reached halfway to the ground. Both aunts were now hopping around and running. I know! I know! As for James, he was so spellbound by the whole thing that he could only stand and stare and murmur quietly to himself, "Oh, isn't it beautiful? It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." "Shut up, you little twerp!" Aunt Spiker snapped, happening to overhear him. "It's none of your business!" "That's right," Aunt Sponge declared. "It's got nothing to do with you whatsoever. Keep out of it." Here's a picture of him dancing around. Tallest the tree that it was growing on, as tall and wide, in fact, as a small house. The bottom part of it gently touched the ground, and there it rested. "It can't fall off now!" Aunt Sponge shouted. "It's stopped growing!" Aunt Spiker cried. "No, it hasn't!" "Yes, it has!" "It's slowing down, Spiker! It's slowing down, but it hasn't stopped yet! You watch it!" There was a pause. "You're right. Do you think it's safe to touch it?" "I don't know. We'd better be careful." Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker began walking slowly around the peach, inspecting it very cautiously from all sides. They were like a couple of hunters who had just shot an elephant and were not quite sure whether it was dead or alive. And the massive round fruit towered over them so high that they looked like midgets from another world beside it. The skin of the peach was very beautiful, a rich buttery yellow with patches of brilliant pink and whatever not, because I say so. But I can't wait to eat some!" Aunt Sponge cried out. She was watering at the mouth now, and the thin trickle of spit was running down one side of her chin. "My dear Sponge," Aunt Spiker said slowly, winking at her sister and smiling slyly. Smiling sly, thin-lipped smile. I can't do it in someone's garden. The news that a peach almost as big as a house had suddenly appeared in someone's garden spread like wildfire across the countryside, and the next day a stream of people came scrambling up the steep hill to gaze upon the marvel. Quickly, Aunt Sponge and Aunt Spiker called in carpenters and had them build a strong fence around the peach to save it from the crowd. And at the same time, these two crafty women stationed my voice is mixed up. Roll up, Aunt Spiky yelled. Only 1 shilling to see the giant pitch. Half price for children under 6 weeks old, Aunt Sponge shouted. Well, at a time, please, don't push, you're all going to get in. Hey, you, come back! There, you haven't paid! By lunchtime, the whole place was a seething mass of men, women and children, all pushing, and the money came rolling into the pockets of the 2 greedy aunts. But while all this excitement was going on outside, poor James was forced to stay locked in his bedroom, peeping through the bars of his window at the crowds below. The disgusting little brute will only get in everyone's way if we let him wander about, Aunt Spiker said early that morning. Oh, please, he begged. I haven't met any of the children for years and years, and there are going to be lots of them down there to play with. Perhaps I could help you with the tickets. Is the likes of you messing things up and getting in the way? Later, when the evening of the first day came out of the door, we're too busy to make food. We're counting our money. James stood alone, out in the open, wondering what to do. The night was all around him now, and high overhead a wild white moon was right. Everything is so deadly quiet, and the shadows are so long and black, and they keep turning into strange shapes that seem to move as you look at them, and the slightest little snap of a twig makes you jump. James felt exactly like that now. He stared straight ahead with large frightened eyes, hardly daring to breathe. Not far away in the middle of the garden he could see the giant peach towering over everything else. Suddenly it was even bigger tonight than ever before. And what a dazzling sight it was! The moonlight was shining and glinting on its great curving sides. Oh, that's where I was. turning them to crystal and silver. It looked like a tremendous silver ball lying there in the grass, silent, mysterious, and wonderful. And then, all at once, little shivers of excitement started running over the skin on James's back. Something else, he told himself, something stranger than ever this time, is about to happen to me again soon. He was sure of it. He could feel it coming. He looked around him, wondering what on earth it was going to be. The garden lay soft and silver in the moonlight. The grass was wet with dew, and a million dewdrops were sparkling and twinkling like diamonds around his feet. And now suddenly, the whole place, the whole garden, seemed to be alive with magic. Almost without knowing what he was doing, as though drawn by some powerful magnet, James Henry Trotter started walking slowly towards the giant peach. He climbed over the fence that surrounded it and stood directly beneath it, staring up at its great bulging sides. He put out a hand and touched it gently with the tip of one finger. It felt soft and warm and slightly furry, like the skin of a baby mouse. Interesting comparison. He moved a step closer and rubbed his cheek lightly against the soft skin. And then, suddenly, while he was doing this, he happened to notice the right beside him and below him, close to the ground, there was a hole in the side of the peach. Chapter 10, and the last one we're reading today. It was quite a large hole, the sort of thing an animal about the size of a fox would have made. James knelt down in front of it and poked his head and shoulders inside. He kept crawling. He crawled in. He kept on crawling. This isn't a hole, he thought. It's a tunnel. The tunnel was damp and murky, and all around him there was the curious bittersweet smell of fresh peach. Bittersweet smell, I can't talk, of fresh peach. The floor was soggy under his knees, the walls were wet and sticky, and peach juice was dripping from the ceiling. James opened his mouth and caught some of it on his tongue. It tasted delicious. He was crawling uphill now, and though the tunnel were leading straight towards the very centre of the gigantic fruit. Every few seconds, he paused and took a bite out of the wall. The peach flesh was sweet and juicy and marvellously refreshing. He crawled on for several more yards, and then suddenly, bang! The top of his head bumped into something extremely hard, blocking his way. He glanced up. In front of me there was a solid wall that seemed at first as though it were made of wood. He touched it with his fingers. It certainly felt like wood, except that it was very jagged and full of deep grooves. "Good heavens," he said. "I know what this is. I've come to the stone in the middle of the peach." Then he noticed that it was a small door cut into the face of the peach stone. He gave a push. It swung open. He crawled through it, and before he had time to glance up and see where he was, he heard a voice saying, "Look who's here." And another one said, "We've been waiting for you." James stopped and stared at the speakers. His face was white with horror. He started to stand up, but his knees were shaking so much he had to sit down again on the floor. He glanced behind him, thinking he could bolt back into the tunnel the way he had come, but the doorway had disappeared, and there was now only a solid brown wall behind him. Whoa! Ending on a cliffhanger. Crikey! Well, hope you all enjoyed the first 10 chapters. Yeah, no live stream tomorrow because it's a bank holiday. So I shan't see you on Tuesday, but don't worry, Lloyd, I will still be sending activities for you to do. There just won't be a live stream. So there'll be some kind of recreational / challenge activity. I think I know what it's going to be. And then on Wednesday, we'll do a live stream of me doing the challenge. But I don't want to spoil it and tell you what it is yet. Yeah, quiz on Tuesday. Remember, if you want to do a quiz round, email me tomorrow or today or sometime before 12 on Tuesday, and we can make sure that you are quiz master for your quiz round, or if you want to write a whole quiz, please do. My voice is very sore from doing Aunt Sponge's voice. Cool. All right. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Ethan, have the most wonderful birthday tomorrow. And enjoy. Oh, and the other thing we can look forward to is Tuesday. We get to see wee baby Harley on Zoom, hopefully. So that's another thing to look forward to on our Zoom quiz on Tuesday. On Zoom quiz day. I can't think of a fun pun. Great. All right. Keep it real. Keep it fresh. Keep it something that rhymes with fresh, that you want to keep it. And Eid Mubarak to all of those who are celebrating